Do you know what the most frequently cited OSHA standard is? It's hazard communication. That's chemical, right? Chemical safety, that's without a doubt the #1 most frequently cited OSHA standard. So today, I want to talk about 4 things that you can do to make sure you don't get cited for this. Let's check it out. All right, so today I want to talk about the 4 most commonly cited parts of the hazard communication standard. So if you're not familiar with hazard communication is all about your employees' right to know about the chemicals they're working with. So the #1 most frequently cited OSHA standard is a failure to label your chemicals. Now, if you know who I am, I come from the world of boat building. That was my first job. That's where I cut my teeth. And in boat manufacturing, there are all kinds of chemicals. There's resin, there's catalyst, there's gel coat, all kinds of things. In every bottle, every spray bottle, every squirt bottle, every 55-gallon drum has to have a label on it. Now, you're required to have the label, the name of the chemical, as well as the hazards of the chemical. So make sure, if you don't do anything else today, go around and talk with your people and make sure every container has a label on it, the hazard and the name of it. Now, the second most common is when people don't have access to safety data sheets. So you got to have a safety data sheet for every chemical that you have on site. Safety data sheets used to be called MSDS. Now they're just called SDS sheets. It can be a little cumbersome, a little overwhelming, but many companies still do it the old-fashioned way with a binder. You go through the binder, you flip through it, you find the safety data sheet. Some companies have moved into where it's now done electronically. Maybe you have an iPad or a tablet, you go through, you find your safety data sheet. But the key is every employee has to be able to do this. So whether they speak English or not, whether they work in that area or not, whether they're familiar with that chemical or not, they have to make sure that they know where the safety data sheet is located. So, organized safety data sheets is the second one. The third one is training. We want to make sure people are familiar with some of the common terms. We want to make sure people know about labeling chemicals, they know where eyewash stations are, they know about PPE, they know about storage. So having a regular safety training, at least done annually, preferably more often than that, is a good idea. So that's the third one. The fourth one is a chemical inventory, and this is the one that can really come back and bite you. You see, you have to have a chemical inventory for every chemical that's kept on site. So if you have a safety data sheet binder, or if you have a list of chemicals at the front of that binder, like an index, that can be your chemical inventory. You just have to make sure you have every chemical listed on there and that it's updated on a regular basis. So you want to have a new birthday put on it every year so that you know that it's the current year and the current inventory. Now keep in mind, you don't have to have an inventory of all the quantities. You don't have to count how many 55-gallon drums you have. But you do have to make sure that you have a list of all the chemicals on site. So, quick recap. We got safety data sheets. They're organized. We got a chemical inventory. It's up to date. We've done training on a regular basis where we have preferably an orientation training along with a regular annual training at the minimum. And then the fourth thing is making sure everything's labeled. If you've done this, odds are your chemical safety program is going to be in pretty good shape. Again, this is just talking about the employee's right to know. So, if you found this video helpful, check out my YouTube channel. I've got all kinds of videos on there about different topics, but we want to make sure that you remember what you do matters. Safety is important because you're preventing someone from getting hurt on the job, and that could be a life-altering injury. So let's do everything we can to make sure no one gets hurt at work.